Virginia, 2025. Autumn leaves blanket Richmond's suburbs in gold and crimson, the air crisp with fallen foliage and distant barbecue smoke. Bob Clarkson, 58, a weathered electrician with calloused hands from decades of wiring homes, sits in his trusty Ford F-150 outside Jack's Diner on the city's edge. The engine's off, but he grips the wheel tightly. Familiar faces pass by, neighbors he's nodded to for 30 years. His mind drifts far from the quiet street.
Bob and Linda had been married 32 years. They met in high school, tied the knot young, raised 2 kids, now scattered, son Jake in Chicago chasing tech dreams, daughter Sarah in Atlanta with her own family. Their cozy home on Maple Street, once buzzing with laughter, now echoed with silence. Linda, a retired teacher, filled her days with gardening tulips and roses, attending her weekly book club where she dissected novels over coffee and scones. Bob stuck to his routine: dawn patrols at job sites, evenings with a cold beer and buddies at the local bar, Sundays glued to NFL games. But lately, a gnawing emptiness had crept in, widening like a fault line in their once solid foundation. It all began innocently enough with Amy, the new waitress at Jack's. She was in her mid-40s, recently divorced, with a warm smile that lit up the dingy diner like a summer sunrise. Her laugh was infectious, reminding Bob of his younger days, back when he felt invincible, cruising in his first truck with the radio blaring classic rock. Amy started small: extra cream in his coffee without asking, a playful tease about his rugged electrician look. Her eyes lingered a second too long, sparking something Bob hadn't felt in years. Conversations evolved from weather chit-chat to deeper shares. Amy opened up about her messy divorce. Her ex, a trucker always on the road, leaving her lonely with their teenage son. Bob shared stories of his glory days, fixing up old cars in his garage. She laughed at his jokes, making him feel seen, valued. One slow afternoon, as rain pattered against the diner windows, she slipped him her number. "In case you need a friendly ear," she said with a wink. Bob pocketed it, heart racing like a kid sneaking candy. Texts started harmlessly. "How is the wiring job going?" From her. "Tough day, but your coffee helped." From him. Then Snapchat. Amy taught him the app over a quick lunch break, her fingers brushing his as she demonstrated filters. Late nights in his garage, nursing a Budweiser amid tools and half-finished projects, Bob typed, "You make me feel alive again." Amy replied with a heart emoji and a selfie, her hair tousled, eyes sparkling. The flirtation ignited, pulling him into a secret world of excitement. Bob never intended to cheat. He still loved Linda, or the version etched in his memory, the spirited girl who danced wildly at their prom, who stood by him through job losses and late-night baby feedings. But routine had dulled their spark. Mornings were rushed goodbyes, evenings silent dinners in front of the TV. Amy, though, was a thrill, sharp like whiskey after a long shift, warming him from within. She listened intently, shared dreams of traveling the West Coast, made him laugh until his sides ached. Their first real encounter happened after a grueling workday. Bob texted Amy about his frustration with a botched electrical panel. "Come vent over pie," she replied. At the diner after hours, under dim lights, talk turned intimate. She confessed her loneliness. He admitted his marriage felt stagnant. As they walked to her car, rain starting again, she kissed him, soft, tentative, then passionate. Bob pulled back, guilt flashing, but the pull was magnetic. "This could be our little escape," she whispered. Meetings became routine. A cheap motel off Highway 95, Afternoons stolen while Linda was at book club. Amy brought wine, played soft music on her phone, oldies like Bob loved. They talked for hours, her son's baseball games, his regrets about not traveling more. Physically, it was electric, rediscovering passion he thought lost forever. Amy made him feel young, desired, whispering compliments that stroked his ego. But nuances crept in. Her subtle jealousy when he mentioned Linda, her hints at wanting more than stolen moments. Bob rationalized it as harmless fun, a midlife boost. It's not love, he told himself, just filling a void. Yet Amy's texts grew needy. When can I see you? Miss your touch. He'd sneak replies in the bathroom, heart pounding. One night, after a heated session, she cried, saying her ex never appreciated her like Bob did. He comforted her, but unease stirred. Was this affair turning emotional? He started noticing her vulnerabilities, the way she clung a bit too tight, her stories of past heartbreaks making him question if he was just another escape for her too. Back home, the guilt mounted. Linda's innocent questions, rough day, cut like knives. He avoided her gaze, fabricated stories about overtime. Their intimacy faded. Bob claimed exhaustion. Linda sensed the shift, trying harder with home-cooked meals, but Bob's mind wandered to Amy's laughter. The double life thrilled and tormented him, excitement of secrecy versus the dread of discovery. Amy pushed boundaries, suggesting weekend getaways, but Bob drew lines, reminding her it was just fun. Tensions rose in their affair. Amy wanted exclusivity, probing about his marriage. Does she make you happy like I do? Bob deflected, but arguments sparked, her accusing him of using her, him insisting on no strings. One motel rendezvous turned stormy. She stormed out after he canceled plans for Linda's birthday. Reconciliation texts followed, pulling him back with promises of passion. These ups and downs hooked Bob deeper, the drama addicting like a soap opera he couldn't quit. The truth exploded one ordinary evening. Linda, tidying the kitchen, found Bob's phone buzzing on the counter. A Snapchat from Amy. "Miss you already. When's our next adventure?" Linda's face paled as she scrolled through deleted but not really messages. No screams, just quiet devastation. When Bob walked in, smelling of diner grease, she held up the phone. "How long, Bob?" Her voice cracked, eyes like shattered glass in the November chill. 6 months, he confessed, collapsing into a chair as his world crumbled. Linda didn't rage. She packed a bag silently and drove to her sister's in Norfolk. Alone in the empty house, Bob spiraled. He ignored Amy's calls, realizing the affair wasn't love. He mourned the man he'd become, chasing thrills at the cost of his foundation. Amy didn't let go easily. She texted furiously. What happened? Did she find out? Bob blocked her, but she showed up at his job site once, eyes pleading. "We have something real," she insisted. He sent her away, the encounter leaving him shaken. It highlighted the mess, Amy's own desperation, born from her failed marriage, clashing with his guilt. He saw parallels, both running from pain, using each other as bandages. A month passed in isolation. Bob hit rock bottom, confiding in a bar buddy who shared his own infidelity regrets. Motivated, Bob sought therapy, a first for a stoic guy like him. Sessions unpacked his fears, aging, irrelevance, the slow death of dreams. Meanwhile, Linda wrestled her own demons at her sister's, journaling about betrayal, but also their shared history. She missed the good times, wondered if forgiveness was possible. Linda returned not for reconciliation, but dialogue. They sat in their living room, surrounded by ghosts of family game nights and holiday cheer. Over coffee gone cold, Bob bared his soul, the emptiness eating him, how Amy filled a temporary gap but exposed deeper issues. Tears flowed as he apologized profusely. Linda shared her side, feeling invisible, taken for granted. The conversation stretched into dawn, raw and honest, peeling back layers of resentment. They decided to rebuild, not erase the past. Therapy became joint. They attended couples sessions, learning communication tools. Bob quit the diner route, focusing on home projects with Linda, like renovating the kitchen together. Evening walks along the James River revived old sparks, holding hands, sharing laughs over silly memories. Intimacy returned slowly, built on trust exercises and vulnerability. Amy faded into the background. Bob heard she moved west, chasing a fresh start in California. He still drives by Jack's for black coffee, staring at the empty counter where she once stood. The affair taught him harsh lessons. Infidelity's thrill is fleeting, but its scars endure. It wasn't just about her nuances, her passion, jealousy, vulnerability, but his own flaws. Nearly losing everything forced Bob to confront himself, emerging stronger, more appreciative of the life he'd built with Linda. Years later, Bob reflects on that autumn as a turning point. Their marriage, scarred but resilient, thrives in small ways. Surprise dates, honest talks. He advises buddies over beers, don't chase shadows, nurture what's real. The story of his fall and rise reminds him, and perhaps others, that midlife crises can destroy or redefine, depending on the choices made. In the end, home is where the heart mends. If you enjoyed this story, subscribe to the channel, leave a like, and write in the comments what you would have done if you were in Michael's place.